let me go over here and basically copy all of the script. I want to use the same thing. Okay. Since I want to copy the lamp, I'll Google for lamp and I basically will install. Okay. There are many more steps, but I've just written only till this aspect. Okay. Now, in here, I want to remove some of the hard-coded values. I want to remove some of the hard-coded values. So, secret key I'll not be passing here, and access key I'll not be passing from here. Right? Now, I have to give a provision so that the users will pass this value. Okay. If I just put like this and then execute, it will tell that you have not passed the secret key, you have not passed the access key, so I'll not be able to create an image for you. I'll not be able to create a image for you. So for that, I need to use one more section in here, which is called as variables. Called as variables. So let me just create that section. You can write it anywhere, but it is always a better practice to write variables at the top. Okay, fine. And in variables, you can put any name. You can put any name. So I'll just say secret. Okay. As of now, I'm not passing any value to it. And then I would call it as access. Simple. You can give any name. You can give 1 and 2 also if you want. Right. The name is of your choice. And these variables are called as user variables because these are the variables created by the user who is basically writing this file. Okay. These variables are called as user variables. So you can use that user variables, right? And you can define many more values, but let us start from here. Then we will add some more things to it. Okay. So I am not going to write a secret key and access key over here, but rather I want to user to pass this value. So now let me go to the Packer section. And now let me look at the variable section. What Packer has to tell about it. Okay. Or much easier thing could be Packer variables. Okay. So create any variable, and whenever you want to access this variable, just use this user symbol, and then you have to use a special character, which is caret. Okay. This is not single column, right? So this is the caret symbol which you need to use. So what I need to do over here is, okay, yes, user, and what is my key's name? Just use these two symbols and access. And similarly over here, user. Any difficulty till this point? No. Right? So whenever I call this Packer file, every time I have to pass the values of it. Every time I have to pass the value of it. So my commands will slightly change from now, where I will tell that Packer build file name.json, and then I need to pass the variables. And to pass the variables, we have to use a command line argument called as -e. -e, name of the variable equals to whatever the value is. Equal to whatever the value is. Right. So now let me log in into AWS to find out what is my secret key and access key. Can I reuse the same or not? Okay. I'm interested in IAM. Really not interested in the EC2 and stuff. Let me delete all the unnecessary users. I just need only one user over here. Yeah. Packer, security credentials. Okay, I said that there are two approaches. One is you reuse the same key, make it inactive, or every day create a new access key. I got my access key. I'll make a note of it in a notepad. And then I got secret access key, which I'll do the same. Right? Now I return this file. So I can give this file, and whenever to this file, if you pass the secret and access, you will be able to do the same thing, whatever I am doing in your account. Okay, let us see. Let me open PowerShell. Okay. Let me go to this better packer directory. Okay. And now packer validate, right? And then what was the file's name? AWS lamp.json. It says template has been validated successfully. There are no syntactical mistakes. Now there is one more thing which we used to do, which is inspect. Okay. It says that there are optional values and there are some defaults around there, and the default value is empty. Now I have to use my last statement, which is packer build. So before I use packer build, I'll go to the command line arguments of it. Packer build. Are you seeing minus hyphen var? This is what I'm going to use. So packer build hyphen var. What is my variable's name over here? Secret. All right. Put that in quotes always. Secret is equal to. We have copied the secret value from AWS, right? So this is your secret. Paste it over here. And do we have one more variable? Yes. Minus var. What is the other variable's name? Access. Put quotes. Access is equal to. And we have some access key around here. Simple. And I want to build AWS hyphen lamp.json. Same thing. Whatever we have done yesterday and whatever you have done today is the same thing. But the advantage of today's file, whatever I've written, is nothing is hard coded over here. Especially the credentials are not hard coded. So I can save this, or I can share this file with you, and you can execute the same command, packer build. Okay. And you have to pass your secret key and you have to pass your access key, and you will be able to do the same image creation, whatever I have done. Right. So whenever you write images, don't hard code the details. Don't write everything in there. So we have to parameterize the stuff. We have to parameterize the stuff, and that is what I've tried to do over here. Apt-get update is running. Yes. And then Apache 2 is being installed, right? So provisioning is done. It is waiting for the instance to be stopped. It will create the image, and we will get the image with whatever stuff which we have given. All right. So this is the same thing. Now I'll not wait for it. Let us go back to our script. Okay. So what are the other things which I can do over here? Okay. The first thing is, why do I have to hard code the image name? Why the name has to be image from Packer? Why the name has to be image from Packer? Why don't I ask the user? Why don't I ask the user? That is the first change which I'm going to do, right? And then the other things which I can do is, probably I can region also I can put a variable. Source AMI also I can put a variable. I can put variable for almost everything. So that is fine. That is the next level of optimization, right? But the first thing is, in the AMI name, try to give the AMI name to the user, or if you want to hard code the AMI name, don't use the name like this. Don't use the name like this, because the problem with this kind of naming is tomorrow whenever once an image is successful, you run the script again. Next time it will fail saying that there is already a image name with a name called as image from Packer. With already a name called as image from Packer. Okay, let us see how do I resolve that. I can set that. It's okay, man. I'll directly search timestamp variable in. Are you seeing? You can use this timestamp. What will happen when you use this? Image from Packer hyphen and you will get some timestamp. So whenever you are building the image for the same time, next time the timestamp will not be the same. So what is the timestamp? Timestamp is hours, minutes, seconds, and date written in a number format. So whenever you are doing for the next time, you will not be generating or executing the same command during the same second, right? It will take some time. So you'll get a new image ID. But if you want to have only one image, go with hard-coded approach. But if you want to have a multiple images, just use this timestamp kind of an approach, right? Let us see. They might have used the timestamp approach in some example. Yeah, you can use something like this. These variables basically, the ISO time is time in the some standard, right? And he's also telling the format how he wants it. Okay, so these are all the decorators. These are all the decorators, right? So they will help you to give the right name, and you will have some sort of functions like how do I split the names and all that stuff. This is all fine, but the first thing which you need to do is whenever don't want to have the image over here, don't write it here. Ask user for input, or the other thing which you can do is if you don't want to ask the user for input, just add timestamp over. Just add timestamp over here, right? So timestamp you can hard code from whatever examples which you see. Even in our Packers one, we have many examples which use this variable. So you can use whatever that makes sense, right? Now let us see what has happened over here. Is there an image created? Yes. So let me go over here. Services. Are you seeing image from Packer? Yeah. Shall I launch this machine? Let us see whether the Apache is installed in this machine or not. Next. I'll just go with default settings. Okay. Since I want to see Apache is installed or not, I'm opening the AT port. Not sure. Yeah. I think I should have it. This is a machine which I have launched on my own, right? From our image. Now, what is this machine's IP address or DNS name, right? So I have my key file over here, if I'm not wrong. So the command will be ssh -i. The file name is cloudformation.pem, and the username. Remember what was the username which we have used over here? You have not changed any user in your provisioning script, right? So you'll still have the username which is Ubuntu @ whatever IP address or DNS name. Yes. Okay. Sudo service Apache 2. Is it running? Yes, it is running. Now, what is the IP address of this machine? I've just now copied. Let me just use http://. So the image which you built now has an Apache image inbuilt in it, right? Your major use case of using Packer was to have your applications image over here, to have your applications image over here, right? So let us do something towards it. Let us do something towards it, right? I'll write for that. You have to write a better provisioning stuff. But with respect to Packer and you creating the AWS image, there is nothing left in it. So what I'll do right now is, let us assume that your team is building a basic website, right? And whenever they build this, whenever you type this, you should get a different web page altogether, different web page. That is one thing which you could try. Or other thing which you could try is, we will take the Tomcat application, and in the Tomcat we will deploy some war file. Anything is fine. Okay. So since web page is a simple approach, I'll go with the Tomcat application deployment, right? So for that, what I need to do is, let me write down the steps and you just help me out on how to do it. Okay. I have to install Tomcat. I have to install Tomcat, right? And after I install Tomcat, basically I need to copy a war file. For the people who don't know about war file is a web archive which is used as a Java project output to deploy in app servers. Whenever you build a Java project, you will get a war file which you can use in deploying it to the applications. Now I want to deploy this war file into Tomcat, right? Whenever I do this, I can deploy the war file in some location which is in Tomcat's directory, and there will be web apps folder. There will be web apps folder, and in that web apps folder is what I need to copy the image, right? So now whenever I want to install Tomcat, I need to install Java also. I need to install Java also. Today I'll be taking simple route. But remember, how many of you know Ansible over here? How many of you know Chef over here? Chef. Yes. Okay. So how many of you are Linux admins who know shell scripting over here? Okay. So we can achieve this task in Ansible. Do you all agree to that? For the people who know Ansible, we can achieve this in Chef. For the people who know Chef, yes or no? Yes. And for the people who are from Linux backgrounds, we can achieve this even from shell scripting. Yes or no? Yes. So what I'll be doing is, the only thing that changes from script to script is the provisioners part, right? And let us, before I go to the next step, let me go into this provisioner section. Ansible local means the machine which you are running from has Ansible. So better go with Ansible remote. Go with Chef Solo, right? Chef Solo is, it will install Chef agent on that machine, much like Kitchen, right? You can try Ansible remote or Chef Solo. Chef Solo is, we have tried Kitchen, right? Test Kitchen, exactly the same thing. So whenever you upgrade the Packer, what Packer does is, Packer will try to install Chef Kitchen in that. Much like what Chef Solo Test Kitchen does, it will try to install Solo, and in that you need to pass whatever your stuff is. That's it, right? But for the people who don't know Ansible and Chef yet, don't worry about it. My focus in this classroom is not around that. My focus in this classroom is around this. Yeah. For the people who already know Ansible and Chef, I'm not doing that example, and I would expect you can do this example. If you know that correctly, it is not a very great deal. You might already have the script for that. Take any script which you have, run it on the server, right? Okay. Now let us look at steps. What is it I wanted? I wanted Tomcat. So Tomcat 8 on Ubuntu 14. Let me take anything. Anything is fine for me. How do I install Tomcat 8? Okay. I'm not going to install any default users and all of that. Let me see the installation method. I don't want it from Tomcat binary. No, not a chance. Let us do one thing. Tomcat 7, because we are not learning how to write a Linux script over here. Let us look at the easier way of installing this one out. So he's telling us the steps. Just do sudo apt-get update and sudo install Tomcat 7. And once you do that, right, if you scroll down, you'll come to know the location of it. Okay. So you have user share Tomcat 7, right? You have certain folders, and var lib Tomcat 7 and web apps folder. This is the folder which we are looking out for, right? So now what I want to do is I want to execute these steps. Let me write the steps manually first. I'll be executing sudo apt-get update, and then I'll be doing sudo apt-get install Tomcat 7, right? And once I do that, I need to copy a var file. I need to copy a var file. So what I'll do is I'll put some var file in some HTTP location. I'll put some var file in some HTTP location, and then what I'll do is I'll try to download that file, and downloading the file can be done by wget. So I'll be just saying that wget. Okay, before I wget, I'll get into cd var lib Tomcat 7 and web apps directory, because I am in that directory right now, and I am doing wget whatever that HTTP location is, whatever that HTTP location is. Then I will just say sudo, right, service Tomcat 7 restart. That's it. Okay. So what is a var file, and where am I going to basically download or get this stuff, right? So you can take any var file, but I'll be taking a var file which is already available. Okay. So we all will be learning Jenkins very soon, right? We'll be learning Jenkins. Okay, let me go to the older version of Jenkins and take some link and download it from there. Okay, don't take the new version. If you take the new version, new version doesn't work on Tomcat 7s. You might require Java 8 based. So I'll be taking the older version of Jenkins. Right? I need a Java var file. Don't worry about what I am doing over here. The var file in this case, since I am not developing any application, is Jenkins. Right? Whenever you are doing this in your company already has an application. It might be hosted somewhere. It might be present in your Nexus server. It might be present in your Artifactory server, or it might be present in your shared directory. It can be somewhere. The only thing which you have to do is the copy logic might change. Now, let me go to the Jenkins download. Let me go to the download side, but I'll not be taking the latest version. I want the very old version. Okay. So, what is he saying? He's saying that these are the weekly releases. Okay. These are the latest versions, right? But there is something which long-term support past releases is. Yes. Okay. Let me take 1.6. Okay. Oh, 1.6 is too much older. Still Hudson.war, man. Avuna? Am I in the wrong directory? Okay. Okay. I can make it. That is in 2010, man. Let us at least come to 11 or 12 time frame. Yeah, good. I don't like that name of Hudson. That is with Oracle right now. Okay. Now I want this file's download location. Right. Let me click on this. One easier way is you click on this. Okay. Downloads. Are you seeing this? I just want. Okay. Now we are already in this machine, right? Let us check whether the steps which you have written will work or not. Okay, because whenever you try some script, you should always check it. This is gone for a toss. Okay, cancel. So I'll go to the downloads directory, log in into my application. Okay, now let us execute our commands. What was my first command? Sudo apt-get update. All right, and then sudo apt-get install Tomcat 7. Sudo apt-get install Tomcat 7. Yeah, you have to give -y. Remember, whenever you are writing scripts in provisioning, if it asks for user input, that is a failure. If you just give sudo apt-get Tomcat 7, it will ask for yes or no, right? The moment Packer sees that there is something which your command line is asking, it will fail the build, because there cannot be human intervention once you have started the command, right? Okay, so Tomcat 7 is installed. Now what is the next step? Let me get into that folder. So cd var lib Tomcat 7 web apps, and now here I will be executing wget, and then this link address. Okay, permission is denied. Okay, fine. In that folder, this user doesn't have an access. All right, 21 minutes, man. That is because of the FTP site of Jenkins, not because of AWS network. "21 minutes is too much, man. Let us try some other route." గేమ్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ 7తో వర్క్ అవుద్దా? 8 అనుకుంటా కదా, వర్క్ అవుతుందా? ఎక్కడ ఉంది గేమ్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్? "45th." Yeah, let me. I'll do one thing. 45th issue, is it? There is some other war file which these guys are suggesting, which will be faster than that. So that's why I'm trying to. This one, zip file on that. Oh, it's okay. We'll do something. Uh, let it say it's finished. Yeah. I need some war file. I'm not really worried what it is. So this is the war file which you have, right? Okay. Okay. Oh, no. For the people who are looking at this site for the first time, this site is basically much like your Google Drive at this moment. You can think of this as a Google Drive. Yeah. So ఇది ఇంకా అవుతుంది, దీన్ని ఆపేద్దాం, doesn't make sense. So now let me do wget sudo wget done. Yes, let me do ls. Okay, okay, service sudo service tomcat 7 restart. Okay, whenever you are seeing some folder that is being created, then tomcat is processing something. Okay, now let me go to the same machine. Okay, this was my machine's IP address. I do colon 8080. Ah, good. 8080 port is not open. Let me do one thing. I open all the ports. Okay, and then slash. Okay, let us assume this is our application, and now I am trying to build a Packer image for this game of life. Shall we try this? We have the manual steps, right? Now I have to write all of this in the scripting format. So what I'll quickly do is, for the people who have been asking questions, let me finish this and I'll take all of your questions. Today I don't have a cloud class after this, so I can spend some more time with you guys. Yeah, I'm adding a new folder. I'm somehow not very good at adding folders in Visual Studio Code. So new folder, let me call it as, okay, Java app. It could be any Java app, right? So tomorrow, whenever you are doing, you might be doing a specific version installation. Today I have done an ad hoc installation. I have taken Tomcat 7, but you might be asked to install Tomcat 8 and Tomcat 9 or whatever it is. For that we learn Ansible anyway. For that we learn Chef anyway. So today you are writing a shell script, but actually you should be able to write a Ansible or a Chef script once you finish your DevOps journey, right? So I'll go over here, and then since my Java app is game of life, or let me write it as, okay, Java 7 web app.json, because this script can deploy any Java 7 web app which has some web link. I'm really not worried about what it is. Java 7 and Tomcat 7, if your application is compatible, you can use the script. That is what I'm trying to make a statement about. Now, JSON file starts with this, right? And when it comes to builders, can I reuse the same thing, whatever I've done here? Yeah, because I have to anyway type the same thing again. So till this point, I'll be doing the same. All right. But this time, I don't want to write a provisioning over here, but I want to write a shell script. I want to write a what? Shell script. So deploy, right? Dot sh. In deploy.sh, I'll be writing sudo apt-get update. Then I'll be writing sudo apt-get install Tomcat 7 minus y. And then I need to go to the folder. So cd, or yeah, cd is fine. Cd var lib Tomcat 7. If you remember, these were exact manual steps what I have did couple of minutes ago. Web apps, right? And then wget, yeah, sudo wget, and this was the link, right? And now after this probably I need to restart the Tomcat. So sudo service Tomcat 7. Was this a very difficult journey? First thing which could be difficult to some of you people is you might not know what these steps are. You might not know what these steps are because you might be new to the Linux world. But just assume that if you know that steps, the file which you are writing is no different. The file which you are writing in Packer is no different. I have copy pasted actually, right? So over here, I'll change just the image name. I'll call it as, I'll just put a variable for that, right? I'll put a variable saying that AMI name, and I'll give that name as game of life. I've given it some default name. Okay. If I don't pass the variable, pick the value from game of life. That's a default value, right? And how do I replace this? Use double curly braces user, and what is the name of the variable? AMI. Simple. Yeah. And then I have to write a provisioners now. And provisioners is also an array. And if the basic array which I'll be using is the same thing, type will be shell. But I don't want to use this inline script. I don't want to use this. Inline is you are writing the shell script in the same file. I don't want to use inline. So let me go to the Packer. Okay. And let me just look at provisioners. And let me go to the shell. And let me see what are the different things it supports. It supports something called as script and scripts. What is the script? It says the part to the script to upload and execute in the machine. Part of the script that has to be uploaded and executed in the machine. The path can be absolute or relative. It is better that you always use a relative path. Right? Relative is relative to your Packer file. Now, where is my Packer file over here? This one. Yes. And when I compare this with this, they are both are present in the same directory. And the file's name is deploy.sh. I'll be using the same thing. Provisioner and type is shell. And then the second one is script, and script is present in the same directory, and the file is deploy dot done. Yes. So you have a shell script and then you are using it. Now let me just make an assumption. Your admin has already given you a shell script, or your team which is deploying the product has already given you a shell script. The only thing which you have to check is run that shell script and see if it is asking for any user inputs. If your script is asking for user inputs, Packer cannot execute it. If your script is not asking for any user inputs, you can directly use it in Packer. That's the whole stuff which I'm trying to do. Right? So shall I build an image with this? Okay. Now let me go to this dot and then cd java app, and then let me not do that. Let me do just Packer inspect, Packer validate, and Packer inspect first. Packer validate, and what was the file's name? It says that okay, things are good. Next is Packer inspect dot slash. It says this is what your status. Now shall I build this? Packer build minus var. Okay. Access is equal to, we have copied the access value somewhere, right? Yeah, this is my access key minus var secret is equal to okay. Image name I'm okay if it is game of life. If I want to change it, I can also pass saying that minus var AMI name equal to whatever name it was. If I don't pass the name, it is taking a value of game of life. So I'm okay with that name. So I don't want to change it. If I want to change, I'll pass the minus var also. Minus var for that AMI name also. And then what is my file's name? Simple. In the next class, what we will do is, right, we'll quickly recreate the same image in Azure. We'll quickly recreate the same image in Azure, right? My provisioning is same. My builder changes next time. My builder and my variables change, but I'll be using the same deploy.sh file. Yeah. Pardon me. We are not using it. Packer is using it internally. All of this is happening from CLI. Yeah. If you don't install CLI, right, Packer will tell that I'm unable to execute this because I'm not seeing anything that is happening. Right. That's it. Now it has downloaded your game of life. It has started creating the image, and you get the image. Did I miss something? It's okay. It has failed. That's it, right? Okay. I'm తప్పించనా లేదే. It should not have failed. Okay, we have it is Ubuntu 16 itself, right? In both the cases, I've used the same image. Should not fail ideally. It's okay. That's a provisioning failure, right? We can correct it anyway. We'll see what that is. Okay. Some builds were not success because the script. What was the problem with this? We executed the same stuff over here. Okay. Let us not worry about the script failure. Let me correct it at the later point of time. I'll just look into why it is, because to my knowledge here also I've executed the same command. Or is this still accessible? No. One minute. Ah. Restarted and lost all the history, I think. Okay, it's okay. Sudo service Tomcat 7. It is working. I don't see a reason for failure of it. Okay, it's okay. Let me find out what is the reason for that. That it might be with respect to some error codes. This command, it expects some codes which is not present over here. That's fine. We'll look into that. But till this moment, if you have seen, basically, if my installation steps are right, I'm not doing a very different job in Packer. Yes or no? Tomorrow, if you want to build the other image of any stuff in AWS cloud, you might be changing the source AMI, you might be changing the region, right? And you will definitely change the provisioning script. You will definitely change the provisioning script. Tell me any other change which you are going to do. ఇవి కాక ఇంకేమైనా చేంజ్లు చేస్తామా, right? And this is what companies are looking out for. Companies are looking out for people who can build images when you are given a provisioning script. This is not a very difficult job once you understand what you are doing. And then the weightage this small work adds to your resume is quite more. Okay, so basically whenever you are telling about Packer, tell that build immutable infrastructure using Packer. So then they will ask, what do you mean by immutable infrastructure? Just tell that we are building images. Why do you call it immutable? Because if there is any change, I'm building a new image. I'm not reusing the old image. I'm not correcting my old image. So when do you build these images? Once in a week. From where? From Jenkins. That's it. This is what the connectivity which enterprise is looking out for. You are calling it as Jenkins because that is a CI tool which you are going to learn. If your company is using different, and if you know some other tool, you can also say that I'm using it from there, right? Exactly the same thing. We'll be doing it from Terraform also. But in Terraform, we don't get image. We get the execution environment. You directly get the URL which you can access. That is used for as a infra provisioning tool. Infra provisioning tool, right? Even Packer is infra provisioning, but the only infra it gives is a static infra. It doesn't give you a executable infra, right? So is this a really difficult stuff, right? Tomorrow, what you might do is, if you know more about AWS, you can add volumes here, right? For the people who are learning AWS already, you can add some extra volumes over here, right? So you can do all sorts of that stuff, saying that I want one more extra mount to be created. Yeah, that is what you do. But the basic image is nothing beyond this. And it is not very difficult to write it. Tomorrow we'll be looking at Azure, which will be no different to this. The only difference is in Azure, how do I write a builder and how do I pass credentials to Azure, right? Just to make AWS work, we have installed AWS CLI. Tomorrow we'll be installing Azure CLI. We'll be installing Azure CLI. We have done only AWS and Azure in the classroom, and your company might be using Google Cloud. Then what will you do? Out of syllabus, is it? You might install a Google CLI. Google will have its own builder. Do the execution once, basically from the CLI, and we'll be able to do it from Packer, right? So is it simple or difficult, right? So ఇది చాలా మంది DevOps engineers కి తెలియదు. Not many people know this area, are aware of this area. Not very difficult, but it can definitely certainly add more weight to your resume, right? So for the people who have raised hand saying that they know Ansible and they know Chef, please add Ansible or Chef provisioning to this and do a simple execution. Just install Git, that is enough. I'm not asking you to write very hi-fi scripts. Use Ansible or Chef to install Git and call it from Packer. Do the same thing from Terraform, right? And for the people who have finished Jenkins, call this from Jenkins, right? And for the people who are yet to finish it, just make a note of all of the statements which I am making. I'm speaking about one tool right now, which is Packer. But if you see about dependencies of the Packer, where it is called from, there are every other tool, there is some sort of dependency. There is some sort of dependency. And every dependency is being called from Jenkins or a CI machine. So always remember, don't just stick it to Arc. Yesterday, I've got one mail saying that if you tell the real-time project, it will be very good. Okay. I am telling about the real-time project at least 5 times a day, right? But the whole point is, don't expect me to do that. నేను చేస్తే మీకు క్లాస్లో ఈ రోజు ఫైల్ రాసినట్టే, పెద్ద డిఫరెన్స్ ఏమి ఉండదు, right? So what I would want to you guys is, for the people who are looking out desperately for something called as real-time project, right? You are using to DevOps issues already, right? Yes or no? Yeah. Just go to the Qt DevOps. There is project references, right? For the people who know about cloud, just look into this stuff. And for the people who don't know about cloud, just go to this non-cloud reference. This is what I want you to do. I want you to have an Nginx load balancer with some app servers, right? And this is the basic structure. And what is that you are supposed to do? Are you seeing over here? I've written everything, right? I've written everything over here for non-cloud as well as cloud environments. Yeah, but don't expect me to do it. No, I don't want to do it, right? నాకు డెవాప్స్ వచ్చని చెప్పుకోవడం ఉద్దేశం కాదుగా, అది ఉద్దేశం అయితే నేను చేసేవాడిని. If that is an expectation, I would have done that. My expectation is not that. Try this. For the people who have been going to the interview and failing in your interviews, try this once and go to an interview. Go to an interview, right? Fine. Now let me look at questions. Okay, we have a whole lot of questions to look at. Builder section should always come before provisioning. In JSON, you don't have any order. If you want, you can write provisioning at the top. variables at the bottom and builders anywhere, because the files are not expected to be in order. But as a best practice, as to maintain the consistency in the files which we write variables at the top, we write builders later, we write provisioners after that, and then if you have to write, you will be might be writing post processors at the later point of. That is just a convention, but there is no strict rule around it saying that you have to write it in the same order. Okay. In the process of creating image, we are creating a temporary instance and it will destroy. Then it will create the required image. Is that a correct understanding? Absolutely. Because to create an image in Amazon, you need to have a virtual machine. So that's why Packer is also doing the same steps. It is creating the image, it is executing your provisioning script. Once everything goes fine, it will shut down that machine, it will create the image, it will destroy the machine, it will destroy whatever it has created, and only image remains. Only image remains. Right. With what roles IAM user must be created? With only EC2 permissions. With only EC2 permissions, because that is what you are using. You are not using anything beyond it. So EC2 permissions is what is required. Okay. What is this var file? Var file is a Java output, right? Okay. You are asking about the Packer. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that var file convention. Buffering the webinar series is slower than audio. Is it happening to everyone? I don't think so. Or is it happening only today? That could be only two differences, because generally we have never received this complaint. Can we specify credentials in a file and that call that file? In the var file you can specify, but writing down credentials at some place is as bad as writing them in your Packer file. Because why do you want to tell about your username and password to someone? Just pass it whenever you want, right? So that's why we don't do it. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. We'll be the file which you can write over there is called as a var file, which I'll be showing it right away. Okay. Do creating images in AWS depends on applications programming language? It has nothing to do with programming language. It has to do with deployment steps. It has nothing to do with programming language. So for example, if you are basically deploying an application which is developed in Java, you have to install Java. Similarly, if you are deploying an application which is developed in Python, you have to install Python. These are the deployment requirements, not really the programming kind of. Yeah, that could be the reason. I should have added the shebang line. Okay, that's fine. Thanks, Rinvas, for that. Yeah, that could be the mistake. After image builds, where is it saved in our system? It is not saved in your system. It is saved in your AWS account. Because AWS images cannot be stored in laptops. They can be stored only in AWS accounts. So it is present in your AWS EC2 instances. And once you go over here, you will be seeing a section called as AMIs. Go over here, you will be seeing your image over here. That's where you see it. Okay. Is multiple AWS instances can be spinned from the same script. Okay. Okay. What is our intention over here? Creating EC2 instances or creating the image? Why am I worried about EC2 instances? Let us worry about them when we deal with Terraform. Right? If you write your provisioner twice, it will create two instances. But what is the necessity of it? Yeah? If you are not provisioner, builder. If you write two different kinds of builders, it might create two different instances. But why am I worried about that? That is not my intention when I am dealing with Packer. Right? Why we need AWS CLI? We are using credentials in Packer. Okay. The credentials which you are passing is not something which Packer understands. The credentials which you are passing is understood by AWS CLI. Packer is internally using AWS CLI to communicate with Amazon. That's why AWS installation is required. How code is picking up the variables and secret values through the variable section that are in the empty. Empty variables means required fields. Whenever you have written a variable with no value in it, that means that those are required variables. And if you have given some value over there, those are called as optional values. That's the whole point. If we write Ansible or Chef code, then how and where should we add that code to the Packer file? Okay, that's what we have been discussing. Rather than using a shell provisioning, go and use Chef solo provisioning. And you would have some example over here. Just have a basic look at that example. You have to pass the type Chef Solo and wherever your cookbook's path is. That's it. Yeah. Okay. If you want to use Ansible-remote host in Packer, failing like Ansible command not found. Just go through the documentation before you use Ansible command remote. You have to install Ansible also. Go through the example over there, because just using the Ansible remote will not help you out. Before that, you have to use the shell provisioning to install Ansible on that system. That's how Ansible works. For Chef, you don't need to do anything, but for Ansible, you have to install Ansible using shell provisioning. If user credentials are required to input while running the shell script, please, there is no way any DevOps tool accepts user inputs while it is executing. The only way to pass user inputs is before your execution starts. Before your execution starts. If you really want to write a shell script which requires some user inputs, use Packer variables. Use Packer variables and use inline script. Use inline script. That's the only way, right? Your script or Packer will not stop you to enter user inputs. Whenever you are doing that, you have made this DevOps process manual. Okay, let me tell you about this scenario. You are building a Packer image, right? And Packer image asks for entering some input. Good. Now, that is fine when you are running it in your system. Now you have put it in some system where it is called automatically every day. Who will enter that? Who will enter that? Will you wake up in the night at 12 o'clock, put an alarm and enter those values? Right? Would you like that idea? No. So we will go away from any sort of input. If we are passing input, we are passing input much before while running the command itself. Not while the tool is executing its work. No. Right? This is not a website. We are not building UI tool to really work on that. Right? Is it possible to use? Yeah, I have been seeing this question 3 times. Yesterday there was a DevOps issue also. Okay, you have a EC2 machine and you want to create a image. Can I use Packer? Why do you want to use Packer then? Right click on that machine and then say create image. Why do you want to take a headache of creating an image from Packer? Okay, నేను మెట్రో స్టేషన్ ఎక్కి అమీర్పేట నుండి అమీర్పేటకి రావచ్చు, మియాపూర్ వరకు వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ మియాపూర్ నుండి రిటర్న్ టికెట్ తీసుకొని రావాలి. That is the way which I look at it. So if you want to create an image of a EC2 machine which is already running, right click on that machine and then say create image. Why do you want to use Packer for that? Are you getting the whole point? దీని మీద DevOps ఇష్యూ కూడా రేస్ చేసింది, నాకు ఓపిక లేదు, అందుకనే రిప్లై ఇవ్వాలి. నన్ను కొన్ని ప్రశ్నలు సమాధానం ఇద్దానికి కూడా మళ్ళీ ఎందుకులే ఇప్పుడు అని ఇవ్వలేదు. సో there is no, we create a Packer image only when we have some provisioning to be done. Only when there is some provisioning to be done, and that provisioning is always your application. That provisioning is always your application, right? So you will be deploying your application in that Packer provisioning. Adi lekapothe asalu Packer tho pane ledhu. If you are not using that, there is no need of Packer at all, right? So if you have a EC2 instance, we will not use Packer, because the input for the Packer is source image, not the EC2 instance ID, right? And that is not a right use case also. When you can create the image by right clicking, will you basically do all of this effort? Right? That doesn't make sense. Okay. When Packer is changed, code is changed, need not to rebuild. Packer code is changed means new image ID. That is what the whole point of immutable infrastructure is all about, right? Whenever you make any changes, you will never get the same image ID again. That's the whole point where we started our discussion with. So for example, today you are installing Java 7. Tomorrow your architect might come and tell that I want Java 8. That is a change. Change means new image. Any change means a new image. That's why we call it as immutable infrastructure. That's the whole point of the name of Packer is basically the immutable infrastructure. We don't rebuild. We just build a new one. Always. Is it possible? Yeah, Ramesh, I'll come back to that. That is something which I'll be showing very. Will AWS charge for these images? Obviously. Packer is not relative to Amazon, right? So whenever you are creating EC2 machine, obviously you are being charged in your account for the machine creation. That is there. So if you are covered under free tier plan, 1 hour is gone whenever you build an image. Whenever you are building an image, it creates a EC2 machine, it does the provisioning. So 1 hour is subtracted from your free tier plan. That's there. Can you please address this question? I'll look into that. Yesterday I didn't add too much. Even today I don't have. I'm not 100% basically. Right? I'll try to address that. ఒకసారి చూడండి ఏంటో 185 క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి అవసరం లేదుగా అది రాయండి మియాపూర్ సమాధానం రాయండి. Do you suggest to use Packer instead of cloud formation? No, because cloud formation is for creating environments or creating something which is executing, not images. Okay, I might suggest you to use Terraform instead of cloud formation, not Packer, because the purpose is if you use cloud formation, right, you are getting the running executing environments. All right, so I might suggest to use Terraform rather than cloud formation, but definitely not Packer. How to set environmental variables for Java in this? How do you set in Linux? What is the command to set environmental variables? I think it is export or changing some file, bash rc file in the stuff. Try to write a command for that. Right. Once provisioning is done, but you didn't relaunch it. Why I need to relaunch it? I know that my script works. I need not prove it every time. That's why I'm not relaunched. Okay, so that is for the reuse next time, right? I didn't want to use it now. I will use whenever the time comes, right? Okay, but you definitely relaunch it because you should know what is happening inside your image. Yeah. Fine. Any other questions with respect to whatever we have discussed in the classroom before I go to the last point and I'll stop the class today? Right. No, it will not. It will just open 22. No, that is not the case. No, that is 80 port is opened for communication, for external communication, right? 80 port open chesina cheyakapoyina installations fail avvu, access avudante, right? That could be due to the shebang. That could be a possible scenario. I should have written that exclamatory mark hash slash bin slash sh. That could be the reason for that, as it is rightly pointed out by one of our students, right? Okay, now variables, right? Let us assume that in my file over here I have 3, so I am passing it. Let us assume that I have 30 variables. I have 30 variables. Every time writing a packer build minus var key equal to value, key 1, key 2, key 3 till 30 times, it is difficult, right? So what Packer also helps does is it gives us an option called as variable file. Packer okay, so let me get into that var file. That's it. In var file, okay, you write all of your variables and its values in a file in a JSON format, right? So for example, for this file I'll be creating one more file over here which is called as vars.json. And what are the variables which I need to pass? I need to pass secret, I need to pass access. So in vars.json, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a JSON file where I'll be passed my key is secret and whatever the value of secret is. Okay, so for example, the value of the secret in my case was, yeah, but secret and access key doesn't make sense for you to write a var file, but I'm still showing you how to write this. And then access, this is the access, all right? And then probably what is the last variable name? AMI name, AMI name. So I can just say GOL, something like this. Okay, GOL hyphen dim. I'm passing these 3 variables, right? So let me also do this. Okay, so I have to just copy this shebang. Okay, and you basically go with any example, you'll be finding this. This is what I'm supposed to write. Yeah. Fine. Okay. So that is what he was trying to tell. Yeah. Which absolutely makes sense. Yeah. That could be or could not be the reason for failure, but add this line whenever you're writing shell scripts. All right. Yeah. Done now. I have a variable file where I've written all of these variables. Now, let me see how my command looks like. I can just say packer build. Okay. Remember, I used to pass minus var and all of that stuff. I don't do that now. I will just say var file. And where is my var file? Vars.json. And then the file which I am trying to build is, okay, because all of my variables which I have written in that JSON. That is a var file concept. So rather than passing the variable multiple times, write all of your variables in one file and simply pass this. That is the whole stuff. That is the whole stuff of it. Right? Are we good? We have a var and a var file. Right? Now, let us assume I do this. I also pass a variable saying that minus var, and we have something called as AMI name is equal to testing. Okay. If you see in the var file also I have written what is given the what is the name for AMI name. I have passed a minus var where also I have given the AMI name. In my file also, in my packer file also, there is a variable defined which has some name over here, which has some name called as game of life. So whenever you have a variable, these are the three different possibilities. These are the three different possibilities of how to pass the variable in the packer. So the variable which you have written in the packer file is of least priority. Is of least priority. The variable which you have written, okay, in the variable file is the next priority. Okay, you can call it as a medium priority. And the value which you have passed with minus var is a high priority. Is the high priority one, which has a high weightage. So the one which has a high weightage always wins. Which has a high weightage now? Minus var. So the image name will be testing. Right? That's the whole point. So we have only three levels. One is basically in the file. In the file, least priority. Right? In the vars file, the next priority. Minus var, the highest priority. That's how it works. So that's what we do over here. Fine. So this is how you pass all of your variables from one file. Remember, secret key and access key should never be part of your vars file, because you are telling your username and password to others. Right? You are telling your username and password to others, which is not a good sign. Which is not a good sign. It is not basically. Probably you might be seeing something like DevSecOps and people are discussing about it, and this is a very what do you say, insecure approach. You should not try this kind of approach. When probably in next 6 months I might add something with respect to security and all of that stuff, because it is very in the starting pages, right? But when we discuss about this, we'll be worrying too much about the sensitive information, and we have to really be very careful about it. But as I said, it is okay while you're practicing to pass the secret key and access key in this file, but not in your real-time work. In real-time work, never ever pass anything which is sensitive in a file. You directly type them always. Fine. Okay. Is it possible to delete the old AMI from packer? No, packer doesn't know how to do that. The packer know how to create images, but not how to delete images. No. Can we mention any type of virtualization type? Any type of virtualization type is not virtualization type is that is a concept which we understand. Packer understands only three things: builders, provisioners, and post processors. So if you want to try this on a different VMware, you are supposed to write a new builder.